All right, guys, welcome back. Mike Fitzpatrick, our team, your dream. This is for the sellers. We're at the fourth segment now. So it's going to be 5 segments altogether, 30 days of how to get my house to be the best house out there. I want the strongest deal. I want the biggest offer. I want everything. I want to be the competition and not trying to beat the competition. Okay, so that brings us up to day 19. All right, we're going to go over today with the real estate agent. Because we're priced right, we're using the 72 sold system. Mike, what's the plan here? What are we going to do when it comes to multiple offer situation? How do we get that? Okay, so a typical agent in today's market will put the house on the market maybe 2 days, give a little bit of advertising, and you may get 1 or 2 showings that day. Or if you're in a hot area, you can get up to 10 showings. Okay, what we want to do is we want to create urgency. Okay, so if 20 people are looking in this area, I want all 20 people on my property. I want all 20 people not looking online on my property. I want them in my property. So how am I going to get there? Of course, the biggest one is price. Okay, so even though I may list it under the value we want, so say we want 400,000, I may list it at 390, because if I list it competitively, if I list it at 400 or 410, of those 20 people, how many do you think I'm going to have coming out to my house? Maybe 10, maybe 9. Now, I'll have all 20 look online, but they're going to look at the price and like, no. I want all 20 out there. So I'm going to lower it to 390 with the expectation of getting over 400,000. But Mike, let's say we only get $390,000 offers, so you don't have to sell that. You can pick what offer that you want. You don't always have to go with the highest. You could get a 425, but your neighbor's son, who you grew up with, is now ready to buy a house, and they only can afford 410 or 405. You may sell it to them just because you want them to move over there. You don't have to take the highest offer. But what I'm getting at is you got to come up with a system on how to get the most activity on this house. Okay, so the first thing we do is we advertise this property without any showings for the first 4 days. Okay, we put it everywhere. We put it on Zillow. We put it on the multiple S. It'll say coming soon, blah, blah, blah. We're advertising this property out the yin yang. We're advertising it to the neighborhood. We know Sally across the street is not going to sell her house and move across the street. But what we're asking Sally is, hey, house is going to go on the market. I know you know of friends, family members, or coworkers that expressed interest about moving into your area because you got a nice development. Who are they? Do you want to be able to pick your neighbor? Okay, and we're using items like this to create urgency. So guess what's going to happen? Remember that agent who was listing the property that had 1 or 2 people? I'm going to have 10 to 15 people showing it that day, and we're going to have an open house. So not only are we going to get those qualified people, but guess what we're also going to get from doing the open house? We're going to get the nosy neighbors. Okay, we want them in there too. We want them helping us sell this house. We want them to, reach out to their family members. Oh, you got to see this property. Okay. The second day, we're also going to have an open house, maybe a little bit, less amount from the first day because it was building up. And then we're going to do 2 separate days of showings. And then after those showings, we're going to have multiple offer situation. Okay. When we have over 3 offers, we focus on what your end result is. So whether it's money, whether it's stress-free, because every seller sells for a different reason, okay? If I have that seller, Mike, I want to get the most money for my house, no matter what. Mike, I don't know really anything about this property. It's an estate sale. When I sign the agreement to sell, all I want to do is sign at the settlement table, okay? So whatever your end game is, that's what I'm focusing on. And when I do a presentation of offers, so we have a standard presentation of offers, but if my seller is directing me on what they want, I'm adding that in there. And if that agent's paying attention to detail, they're going to see that. And they're going to make sure, they're going to try to make the seller happy on accepting this offer. And most of the time, it's not on price. It could be the little things. One of the things that got our offer accepted, the people were downsizing. They were going into a retirement community. It was a 3-story house full of furniture. And as we were talking, the agent was telling me, he's like, yeah, we're getting estimates now and getting this furniture removed. It's going to cost us $7,000. And I was like, look, I'll make you a deal. You get our offer accepted. My buyer's willing to take all the furniture. He's like, oh, really? Oh, hold on. That's a selling point. Oh, well, I'll have to get back to you on that. These are some of the items that your listing agent needs to get over to that buyer's agent to see that if it's doable to get your offer, to get that offer accepted. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole 72 sold program. These are my little tricks and trades, but these are ways that are going to get you to where you need to be. All right, when you have multiple offer situation. All right, the next is what can go wrong. Mike, once we go under contract, what can go wrong? Well, there's contingencies in the contract, and when we go over them, I mean, there's a home inspection. I mean, depending on what state you're in. So if you're in Pennsylvania, just one repair can come up and the buyer can say, you know what, I want out. They're allowed to ask for things. It's not mandatory that you have to do them. It's a meeting of the minds. If the seller doesn't agree and the buyer's adamant on that, they use that contingency to get out of the contract. You put your house back on the market and the buyer goes and, looks for another property. What can go wrong with the property? Anything. Maintenance. That's why it's so important to do preventive maintenance around the house. When I asked you before to get that pre-inspection, that will overcome all that stuff. Okay. Mike, can the buyer lose their job? Sure. Well, do we keep the deposit? Absolutely not. It's part of the mortgage contingency. Well, how do we make sure it doesn't happen? This goes back to the agent who is presenting your offers. When they present your offers, yes, this may be the highest offer, but you know what? They've had 3 different jobs and 3 different careers in the last 4 years, and the mortgage company's kind of iffy about them. I might not want that guy. I might want the guy who's putting in $5,000 less, that's been in his job for 20 years. And not only did I have the real estate agent company calling me about the buyer, but I had the mortgage company call me and say, this guy is ready to go. Not only is he pre-approved, but he's underwritten by the mortgage company and we're good to go. Okay. It's good to be a pessimist on this day to find out what can go wrong. Now, you're not going to dwell on it, but you're going to be prepared for it, and you're not going to be surprised if it happens. If it does happen, you're going to have a game plan for it, okay? And there are game plans, there are tips on this, but I don't want to put this out there because my value proposition, I got to protect it. All right, day 21, pets, children, maintaining the property before and after showings. Okay, so the first day when you get your house ready to be put on the market, right before the photographer, is probably the best your house is ever going to look. We're going to get a maid service in there. We're going to get the photographer in there, and then boom. Okay, but what do I do if there's a showing? Okay, rules. You got to make sure the house is organized. Are you selling a piece of furniture from Kmart, or are you selling it from Raymour Flanigan? If you want to make it look like Raymour Flanigan, no dishes in the sink, everything has to be clean. Declutterize that countertop. Get rid of some of those appliances. Anything you don't need for the next 6 months, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Pack it away. Just pack it away, get it out of there. Show them the house, okay? Make it presentable. If you have dogs, doggy bed, make sure everything's straightened, the kitty litter is empty, clean, and the dogs are out and the animals are out of the house. If the animals are not, they can't go out of the house, put them in a cage, take them to the neighbors, whatever. Kids, okay? You have a showing at 2 o'clock. House looks like a mess. By 12, you got to straighten it up, got to put everything away, got to organize everything. We're not saying you got to take all their toys and put it in a closet. Organize. You just don't want a bunch of Legos on the floor, okay? This is a mindset that the buyer will pick up, okay? When the buyer goes into a house and they see clutter everywhere, I'm like, oh, they're selling a house and they're keeping it like this. We understand people live in houses, so we're not expecting it to be immaculate, but we are expecting it to be show ready. You have plenty of notice when these buyers are going to come through, 1 to 2. You had 24 hours notice. There's no reason why you can't. And one of the pet peeves that I have is if you can't keep a tight ship, if your light switches have fingerprints on it, your doors have fingerprints all over it, or there's grease, and you didn't do a proper cleaning, that tells me I might have a little bit of an issue with you when we get to a home inspection phase. It's a mindset, but it's something that has been ongoing for the last 20 years I've been selling real estate. And make sure also, I know with some pets, there's an odor problem. Air fresheners, bake a round of cookies before the open house, get that aroma going on, but just maintaining everything. That's it, just keeping up with everything. All right, so day 22, we're gonna meet the photographer, we're gonna meet the stager, and we're gonna meet any staff, okay? This is the point where whether we're getting the pre-appraisal we're getting the pre-home inspection, getting the photographer, we're bringing out a stager, bringing out the moving company, getting a video conference with me and my transaction coordinator on how everything's being run. You're going to meet everybody, okay? But the main purpose of this one is to meet the photographer and the stager, okay? We want to bring them in, and the stager's going to recommend at a price, we're going to put some furniture in here, or we're going to change this, we're going to have you get rid of this, or put this in storage, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people don't like the stagers. I do see a benefit with them, but the photographer is the big one I want you to focus on, because not only is he going to take anywhere from 35 to 52 pictures, he's going to do a video, and they're also going to do a drone shot if it's beneficial, okay? So whatever recommendations that they give you, I would do 100%, okay? And then you have the other ones that I mentioned, the home inspector and appraiser. You want to get a basic lowdown of what they're going to be doing. What are we going to accomplish when we're done with this, okay? Day 23. This is when all your work has to be done. So you've had a pre-inspection done before, okay? We had that. They have a repair list. Your real estate agent that recommended the repair list. Now the photographer that came in and recommended his changes. All this work should be done by day 23. So this way you have 7 days of, that you can at least breathe and take your time doing anything. And if it's not completed by day 23, that's fine, but just determine when it's going to be completed, okay? And it should be completed no later than when the photographer goes out and gets the pictures done, all right? Day 24, do I need to attend settlement? As a seller, I recommend you not going to settlement. Unless you know the buyers or you want to share stories, there is absolutely no reason for you to be at the settlement of the house that you're selling. No benefit whatsoever, okay? The days of you getting a check, no. And even if you do get a check, it's going to take 2 or 3 days for it to clear. We're going to wire it. You're going to sign what's called a deed package. You know how much you're going to walk away with. And if there's any change, the real estate agent is going to let you know. All your paperwork is going to be signed. When you're at settlement, a seller only signs about 5 pieces of document, 5 documents. The buyer, they got to sign a mortgage package. They got initial here, blood draw here, fingerprint there. They're going to be signing papers for at least 45. Do you want to sit there twiddling your thumbs and just coming up with stories on how to, kill the time? No, do not show up at settlement, okay? Get a deed package. Your real estate agent will be there. The title company is going to wire that money to the next title company. Wait a minute. No check. The money's automatically given to the title company. I could sleep in. I could stay at the hotel. Yes, that's what you want. You want to do what's called a deed package. All right. That'll leave us all for today. Again, this is Mike Fitzpatrick with our team, Your Dream. If you have any real estate, mortgage, or title questions, please reach out to me at 267-549-2505. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.